We're on Chapter 1, Lesson 3, Rate. Please turn to page 31 in your textbook. Before we can talk about this lesson, we have to talk about vocabulary words. This is probably the most important part of this lesson, so please pay attention. A fraction is a number that represents a part of a whole or a part of a set. It is simply that, a fraction. It does not have labels, so there are no labels. It's just a number. All right. A ratio is a comparison of two quantities by division. Now, one of the words that they left off that you need to understand is the word like. It's a comparison of two like quantities, which again means it has something in common, such as fruit, paint, school supplies, pets. So again, you get the idea. It has something in common. On the other hand, a rate is a ratio that compares two quantities with different kinds of units. So again, the key word here is different. In this case, we have miles, which is a measurement, and hours, which is time. We have money compared to an item. And lastly, we have an item compared to time. Notice again that they're two different types of quantities. A unit rate is a rate that is simplified so that it has a denominator of a 1. We know in Spanish that uno means 1. In order for it to be a unit rate, it must have a denominator of 1. Let's look at the real world link. Desiree typed 15 character text messages in 5 minutes. So we need to figure out, is this a ratio? Is this a rate, or is this a unit rate? Well, we can cross out unit rate right now because we have the numbers 15 and 5. Now, we're talking about messages and seconds. So we're talking about something like an item, and we're talking about time. Therefore, we know it's not a ratio, it must be a rate. So now that we've established it's a rate, we have to put it into fractional form. So we know that's 15 over 5. And we want to get it into its simplest form, so we're going to divide by 5 and get 3 over 1. So we know that she can text 3 messages in 1 second. That's pretty fast. Turn the page. So just to recap, a rate is a ratio comparing two quantities that are different. And a unit rate has a denominator of 1. So back to our previous problem, we had 15 characters in 5 seconds, and then the unit rate is 3 characters in 1 second. I'm lucky to do, I don't know, maybe 10 characters in a second because I have to punch mine in 1 finger at a time. Pretty funny. So let's talk about example number 1. Samantha picked 45 oranges in 5 minutes. We want to write it as a rate and then a unit rate. The most important thing that I can stress is that you must put labels. If you put labels, you won't mess this up. In this case, it's oranges and minutes. Oranges on top, minutes on bottom. We have 45 and we have 5. And I can simplify this by dividing by 5 and get 9 and 1. So I know that she can pick 9 oranges per minute. Let's look at example number 2. Alright, here we have the Australian dragonfly that can travel 18 miles in 30 minutes. How far can it go in 1 minute? So the first thing that we have to do is write our labels. In this case, remember we have a bunch of letters that are the same, so miles, just put mile and M-I-N. Okay, and we know 18 and 30, and we need to simplify it. Oh, they're divisible by 6, but we cannot get it to 1 minute, and that's what we're trying to do. So in this case, draw another line. We got to get it for 1 minute. Take the fractional part and move it to the numerator. So we know that a dragonfly can travel 3/5 of a mile in 1 minute. Get it, got it, go. Pause the video. So in problem number A, we have songs in minutes. So again, we have a rate. Did you put a label? If you did not put a label, do that now. I used an S and an M. So we have 35/5, which simplifies to 7/1, 7 songs per minute. Now we have baking bread. We have comparison of water and flour. So we want it from 1 cup of flour. So we have water and flour, 9 to 12, simplifies to 3/4. And again, we need to get it to 1 cup of flour. So we take the fraction, we move it to the numerator. So we have 3/4 cup of water to 1 cup of flour. Turn the page. Okay, so now we have a multi-step problem. An adult heart beats about 2,100 times in 30 minutes, and a baby beats it 2,600 times in 20 minutes. How many more beats does the baby's heart beat in 60 minutes? All right, so now we have to pay attention. What I noticed first was that we have 30 and we have 20, so we have to pay attention to that. First, we need to simplify it. So we have the adult and the baby. We need to get it per unit rate. So in this case, we divide by 30, yes, and we get 70 beats per minute. So an adult is 70 beats per minute, where a baby, we divide by 20 and we get 130 beats per minute. We know that a baby's heart beats a lot faster than an adult. Now, we want to get it to 60. So now we just multiply by 60, and we know that an adult beats 4,200 times in 60 minutes or an hour, and a baby is 7,800 beats in 60 minutes or an hour. Now, they wanted to know how many more beats does a baby's heart beat in 60 minutes than an adult. So how many more tells us that we have a division problem. Sorry, a subtraction problem. The word difference means to subtract. So we have 7,800 minus 4,200, and we get 3,600. So we know that a baby's heart will beat 3,600 more times than an adult in 1 hour. Get it? Got it? Go. Pause the video. Remember, this problem is going to take multiple steps, so don't cheat. Do each step one at a time to get the answer. See you in a minute. Alright, so in this case, we know that a hummingbird beats at 7,500 in 30 minutes, so we double that and we get 150,000 beats in 60 minutes. And then we bring the baby's beats down that we already learned, 7,860 minutes. No, sorry, yes, 60 minutes. So then we have to do a subtraction because again it says how many more. So we subtract 150,000 minus 7,800 and we get, oops, did anybody catch my mistake? I have one too many zeros. Let's get rid of that zero there. That's 7,200 100 beats more. Now let's look at unit prices. So, the most important thing about unit price, we're talking about cost per unit or item. Money must always go on top, and then the item on bottom. When you go to the grocery store, look for this tag. It's a little square, and it'll actually have the cost per whatever. And it'll be cost per 1 ounce, cost per one, so it'll be a dollar amount, and it'll be per one something, such as ounces or pounds or whatever. That way you can make a comparison. Go to the cereal aisle and look for these tags. So again, we're talking price on the top and tickets on the bottom. So we're trying to find the unit cost for one ticket. We divide by 4, and we know that one ticket is $9. Okay, turn the page. So we have 4 potted plants that cost $88. What is the price per plant? Notice that they put the word plants before money, but money always has to go on what? Top. Very good. So we have 88 over 4. And we see that it simplifies to $22 a plant. Now do the guided practice. Don't cheat. Pause the video. When you're done, come back and check your answers. Okay, so in problem number 1, we have points and quarters. So again, points on top, quarters on bottom. 44 over 4 simplifies to 11 over 1, or 11 points in 1 quarter. Number 2 is feet and seconds. So we have 125 feet in 5 seconds, which simplifies to 25 feet per second. Notice that I've abbreviated it FPS, which stands for feet per second. The next problem, number 3, is 360 miles, 12 gallons. So it simplifies to 30 miles per gallon. So again, we simplify that and we write it as 30 mpg, miles per gallon. The next problem, number 4, we have 12 meters in 28 seconds. We can simplify that to 3 over 7, but we cannot get it any lower in fractional form. So we take the fraction, we move it to the numerator, and we put 1 for seconds, because again, this whole thing was on determining unit rates. So we have 3/7 of a meter in 1 second. Number 5, we have Molly, who shoots 20 baskets, 4 minutes. Nico, 42 in 6 minutes. We simplify those and find out that Molly shoots 5 baskets in 1 minute and Nico 7 baskets in 1 minute, and they wanted to know how many more. We subtract, and that gives us 2. Oh, let's get rid of this guy hanging out here. Okay, and then in number 6, we have Caroline's birthday party, taking friends, $40, 5 tickets, $8 a ticket. So what did we learn? In rates, ratios, and unit rates, we're making a comparison. So go back to the beginning of this lesson and look at the vocabulary. The vocabulary is very important. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.